All right, what's up, guys? We are just on a roll here, so figured let's keep sending it. This is episode 4 of this brand new vlog show thing that I'm doing. Just some of my thoughts on video for your consumption or criticism or entertainment. So this video is now here. Here we're getting into some of the juicy stuff, um, and maybe a little provocative or controversial, and maybe a pitfall to get a little political right off the bat. So, but I figured it's something I'm interested in. I enjoy talking about. I enjoy listening and learning about. These are a lot of the people that I listen to nowadays are talking about these subjects. So I figured, what the heck? Let's have a video about libertarianism. So I'm relatively new to this way of thinking. So I'm sure if I put some ideas out here, there would be some hardcore people on the internet who would come in and say, "Oh, well, you don't know what libertarianism is. You're not doing it right. You don't know what you're talking about." So I won't try and portray myself as some kind of an expert, but I will mention an event and then two people that have influenced my way of thinking on this subject, and then maybe just kind of illustrate why this subject is interesting to me at the moment, and yeah, hopefully again put these thoughts down, continue to refine these thoughts over the years, and hopefully, someday or as time goes on, get to engage with other or get to engage with really smart people on the subject and learn from them, and again to help refine my own ideas. So, in the realm of libertarianism, I think one and two, as far as sequence, it's hard to remember which one happened first because it's all been kind of recent, um, uh, but is been building up over time. So by that I mean, so the number one item I put down was lockdowns, and then the number two item now. So that was the events, and then the two people. The second being Peter Schiff, and then the third being Milton Friedman. So the reason I put lockdowns down first was, as I'm sure many people are aware, 2020 was the year of the coronavirus scare, where we experienced this public health scare, and then saw the reaction to that worldwide, or at least for sure nationwide, and we saw a lot of different variations in the reactions different people and organizations had to it. Um, so the different ways that governments reacted to this public health scare, and then in turn the different ways that citizens reacted to the government reaction. So um, and so as a small business person, I know it hit really close to home again, throughout the last year, seeing the action that our government and our state took to restrict businesses, and to do so in what we felt like was an inconsistent way, right? So you had, you know, Starbucks being left open, so you had, you know, cashiers at Starbucks handing out, thousands of cups of coffee a day, interacting and touching things that other people are touching, and yet other smaller mom and pop stores were forced to close, right? And we had people being deemed as, hey, some people are essential, but some people are non-essential, and it's maybe some of the emotion has died down now that we seem to be on the back side of it, but the uh, but at the time it was a very tense time, and I remember looking at the inequity in the way that the measures were being doled out, and thinking, this doesn't line up, even though, our business is in the construction industry and in the trades, and it was really easy to kind of fly under the radar and continue to operate, where people might kind of go, oh, you guys are in construction, no big deal, you're essential. Well, regardless, I was not a fan of looking to my right and to my left and seeing, hey, this restaurant's being closed down, or this hair salon's being closed down. How is their need to pay their bills or feed their children, how is their needs any less essential than me or the rest of our team, right? So I was, and I think this was a big year for a lot of people to have sort of a political awakening on any end of the spectrum, on either side of the aisle. So these events of seeing the government restrictions imposed and being in small business, kind of, I think, really put some horsepower behind the ideas that I had been hearing from guys like Peter Schiff. So he is a guy that has been on, Joe Rogan's podcast many times. He has his own shows. He's a finance guy, maybe considered an economist, but a guy who runs his own finance firm and is a capitalist to the core, and a successful one at that, right? And so, but he is also, I think, in terms of like a political ideology, subscribes to libertarianism and advocates for limited government, as much individual liberty and freedom as possible, because not because, but because the principle is correct, right? Because we'd all be better off, we'd all be allowed to pursue our own interests and be happier the more freedom that we have. And then as a really fortunate byproduct of that, a lot of these thought leaders would say that it's the right thing to do on principle to limit government and give and allow people the most freedom humanly possible. So that's on the principle, it's right. But also as a fortunate side effect of that, you see historical cases of massive prosperity because of that, right? And so that's, I mean, I guess that's where the argument lies of which system is the best. And so I'll cut this one a little short because we're already getting into 7-8 minutes long. I'm sure you don't want to hear me yap on and on for too long. But so the lockdowns were one thing that really went, let me really listen into these ideas now that they seem even that much more important and urgent. And having the ground laid by a guy like Peter Schiff, who talks about the way that economics affect our day-to-day lives, and then the third one being a man by the name of Milton Friedman. So someone that, again, throughout this last year I became aware of, read Capitalism and Freedom. I'm about halfway through his book Free to Choose, and I've watched probably just about everything that exists of him on YouTube. And so he's another guy who advocates for extremely limited government, maximizing individual freedoms and liberty, because he believes it's the right thing to do, and also because he makes a case for history and geography to show that that's going to lead to the most prosperity possible. So anyhow, that's my 3-part take on my initiation into libertarianism. Hope it was interesting to you guys, and would love to hear your thoughts on those ideas. And until then, I will see you next time. All right.